the cloud. There we go. All right. So I'm going to read a little bit and then we'll talk about it. One of the greatest misconceptions ever is the belief that it takes years to find wisdom. Many experience time, but few experience wisdom. The achievement of mental stability and peace of mind is one thought away from everyone on earth, if you can find that one thought. Boy, there's enough right there. Page 1, right?
And that was like right at the beginning of the book too.
Say that again,
Karen? I think that was right in the beginning of the book too.
Yeah, right? Yeah, right. So have you experienced that in your own lives? Like, you're not in a peaceful state and then something happens, something shifts inside of you and you feel peace and you realize, holy cow, that came with a new thought. I had this new thought and it just came. It's not like I did positive thinking. It just came and it shifted everything. We probably get that a lot, but we may not notice it. I really noticed it I think it was last Thanksgiving. I don't think it was the Thanksgiving. Oh, it was actually 2 Thanksgivings ago. And you probably heard this story from me. I woke up and I was in a bad mood, really bad mood. Alone, COVID, And so I go to my second favorite park. You may know of it, Karen. It's on New Britain Avenue, Wolcott Park. It's much smaller than the reservoir, but it's usually teeming with life. Basketball courts, baseball diamonds, paddleball, racquetball, tennis, on and on. All these activities and people of all ages, walking dogs, kids playing, adults watching the kids playing. So I get there thinking that this will help. And it is so desolate. It looks like I'm the last person who survived on planet Earth. Everybody else is gone and I'm the only one left. That's what it felt like. So I'm still in a really bad mood. And then I have this thought and I pulled out my camera and I started taking a video of it. And I thought, holy cow, I'm never going to see this again. This is a once in a lifetime experience. And I was tripping. I was in a whole different state of mind. And that to me was such a great example of being one thought away. I know it happens in little bits and pieces throughout life. Yeah. And he said, if you can find that one thought, I don't know. I've never been able to look for a better thought. To me, that was like positive thinking. So I don't know that I fully understand what Sid meant by that. If you can find that one thought. To me, it's more
just that
serendipity.
It occurs to you. It just occurs to you, because if you try to force it, well, good luck with that, right?
Right.
It's probably the thought that occurs, and if that thought occurs, that then you're aware of it, that you find that one thought.
That's how I experienced it for sure. And I think there's like an openness, knowing that this is how it works, causes me to be more open for a new thought to come to mind. At least knowing not to dwell on the negative thoughts, where that sure helps. Then there's open space.
Getting quiet too, and just catching yourself in that moment and then refocusing.
Yeah.
You see it again
Yeah.
differently.
Getting quiet. Yeah.
What page was that quote on?
Page 3,
I knew it was in the beginning. Okay.
very beginning. Yeah. The only thing before that is the introduction.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I
Gotta
should
back up
read
in
the
the book,
introduction.
so.
I love it. There are those in this world who believe miracles do not happen. I can assure such skeptics that they do. With hope and faith as beacons, anything can happen. If these writings bring a second chance of life to just one human being, my work has not been in vain. And that was 1998. So true. It takes years to find wisdom. That's a misconception. Many experience time, but few experience wisdom. Right? I mean, Karen and I know a young woman who's 25 years old. Well, she's been on mystery school, Julia. Wisdom, like how many 25-year-olds embody that kind of wisdom?
Mm.
Age
She's
has
very
nothing to do
amazing.
with that. No, it's not people. Lots of people say, "Oh, old people have wisdom." Well, bullshit. No, I mean, I see so many old people that haven't learned anything. They're still stuck in their old ways and old way of thinking. So that's not necessarily true that with age you see things differently, or you have more wisdom, because this is not necessarily true.
Yeah, that's so true, Martine. You know, people who say with age comes wisdom, they're talking about conceptual. You know, like people with age, they saw this war, that war, they saw, you know, that they experienced the depression, or, you know, that's the kind of wisdom that most people think of. They don't think of wisdom as understanding how life works, not having to do with history, what's happened, having to do with how life works in this moment, and in this moment, and in this moment.
Well, in doing that, my guide inside with the kids, it really makes me think, because I know it talks about wisdom and aligning it with common sense and making the right choice in the moment for what's going on, and just listening to that inner guide, that inner wisdom going, someone's fall down, you help them out. You don't just kick them, you don't step over them and move around them. You stop and you help them. And I think that special wisdom that is just, some just lack for whatever reason, caught up in self.
Yeah, caught up in their self, in ego. Yeah, there's some wisdom. Yeah.
I've been tapping onto that one and noticing stuff at work. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like you have an example.
Mm. Yeah, my bosses, they don't understand what I do. We've had that discussion, but so they want me to track my time now. And I was like, okay, no problem. I was using a program in the fall time that was just far too complicated. All of the coaches got on it, and I did it faithfully for like 2 months. I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous, because it was supposed to end in the end of December. And so nobody would, I was talking to the rest of the, we're like, it's just too tedious. And so one of my supervisors, like, well, I got the spreadsheet. Let's go with this. And I looked at this and I'm like, 90% of it's working, and I'm going to fix the other 10%. And so I did. It's just, I'm not going to get caught up in it. No, I replied back with, this is fine. I see what it's doing. I'm going to tweak it a little bit to make it work for all of us, because I need value for me too. Haven't heard anything back, and I'm using it, and it's working like a charm. So instead of being bothered about like, okay, here, you want to know what I do? Here you go. You're going to get far more information than you thought, because instead of having it one spreadsheet for the week, I have a tab for every day. And so I've got more detail on there, and it's all right in front of me, and I can reflect back and see where things I was working on, and it's helping me to actually be more efficient. So I'm happy with it. Like,
Oh, how
I'm not caught up in
wonderful.
who created it. I'm caught up in making it my own, and it's going well. Very pleased.
Oh, wow. Isn't that great? That's a great example of one thought shifting everything.
Yeah, because if
Because-
I got caught, if I would, this was a year ago, you know where that would have gone. And I'm like, nope, okay, I want to do this anyway to explain, and without any feedback, no pushback in either direction, just like, sure, no problem. Yeah,
That's so
and it's like we
cool.
move on, and I'm like, I'm good. I'm thinking, yeah, we're getting it documented again. I'm happy with that. Didn't care where it came from. It's going forward.
Isn't that
Doesn't
great?
matter.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been so easy, before you understood
Mhm.
this, it would have been so easy to just harp in your mind, harp on,
Oh, why do I have to
their
do this? Why do I have
pushback.
to do this? Yeah, it's
right? And that
Now
would
I'm like, yeah.
totally block out this new creation.
Mhm. Yep. Going well. Going well. Grateful and thankful.
Yeah. Well, that's so wonderful.
And I'm excited
right.
about going back to my kids this week with session 2 with calm and curious instead of fast and furious. So yeah.
Ah, so this is, have you already done that?
Nice. My
Monday or
first one
Tuesday?
is Thursday. So I'll send you the
Oh,
slides.
cool. Yeah. Karen is presenting my guidance side in her school,
Elementary.
elementary.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about
Two
to be
classes, I
translated
think.
in French.
Huh?
It's about to be translated in French,
Ooh.
which is
So-
surprising, hasn't been so far being Canadian. But yeah.
That's
so
right,
it's-
because she's from British Columbia.
Mhm. So one of them has been translated, and somebody is translating it now. I've been asked to maybe review the translation. And yeah, so
Oh, that's awesome. So are you in education too then?
nope.
Oh, that's cool though. But I'm glad that you're familiar with it, because I think it's a fantastic resource.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you have to read it. The French version,
But
Martine.
it's not ready yet. So eventually.
Yeah. That's a nice job. All right, how about another page? Throughout time, human beings have experienced insights that spontaneously and completely change their behavior and their lives, bringing them happiness they previously had thought impossible. Finding wisdom has nothing to do with time. Achieving mental stability is a matter of finding healthy thoughts from moment to moment. Such thoughts can be light years or a second away. Yeah. Light years, if we're dwelling on the unhealthy thoughts, it's going to be light years away, because there's no opening for a fresh new thought then to peek through, right?
But then again, Viktor Frankl had an insight on the dead march. So do you have, so sometimes insight come in bad places, but it probably
Yeah.
helps if you're calm.
Yeah.
Choose not to focus on the bad thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Helps
such
get
an
rest.
interesting book. what he went through. So fascinating.
Mm.
All right, the spiritual energy of all things, whether in form or formless, is known by many names. Nature is the physical form the spiritual energy has taken. Isn't
Yeah,
that
that was
interesting? I
interesting.
love that.
Yeah.
Nature is the physical form the spiritual energy has taken. Believe me, the subtle truth all people seek will never be found in the illusion of form. Look deep inside your soul. This is where you will find the answer. Yeah, I mean, you know, I watch the news and it's so heartbreaking with this war in Ukraine. And the answers are certainly not in the form. I'm not finding answers deep inside myself about it either, though.
I struggle with all of it. There was a lady I went to get my oil changed yesterday. And there was a lady who she was trying to talk to everybody who was in there in that waiting room. One guy, one lady left, her car was done. Another guy just got up and walked after she kept trying to talk to him. This other lady, her car finally got done, and then I'm the last one left in there. And she's like talking at me. I'm a mask wearer, so I had my mask on. She was across the room and she didn't have a mask on, and she was getting close to these other people. And I was like, and she started at me, and I looked at her, and I was just like, she goes, "What do you think about this?" And I knew she didn't care what I thought. I knew she just wanted to put her opinion out there, and it was just total opposite of where I stood. Because she was looking at the Ukrainian people. See, what are we trying to get involved in this for? Look how these people like to live. I'm thinking, they're in a bomb shelter. And I looked at her and I said, I am sorry, but I really don't want to have this conversation with you. And she just looked at me and she says, nobody wants to talk to me. And she got up and she went outside. And I'm thinking, I just didn't know what to say to her other than because I knew she wasn't going to hear what I had to say. And I had heard her 3 times already. I'm going, and it was the same story every time. And it was just like, where do we go with this?
Yeah.
So it's kind
Well,
of
to
like
me-
what Martine mentioned early in the beginning. It's like, there are some people who believe certain things, and it's like, how do we tap into them? I don't even know where to start.
Your answer to me sounded like wisdom.
Okay.
Right?
'Cause
Wasn't that
I felt like a
so
coward. I'm
wise?
going,
I don't want to have this conversation with you. Because you could see it was going to go nowhere.
yeah,
She was just looking for somebody to
support
debate
her
with.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or debate, but nobody else was debating with her. They just kind of like quickly just deteriorated to going, okay, whatever you say, and found a way to get out of the room. And I'm going, yeah, that oil change is not done yet. It's hard. And I felt horrible, but she was angry.
Yeah. 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 A lot of people would not have chosen that wise response. You know, that's instinct, isn't it? That you could just tell that there's nothing you could say that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
You could
And
see
your
where that
wisdom
was going.
talk, no, because you were calm. You could see there was no point in engaging. If you had been, no, I don't know, shit, I'm late, no, something like that.
My car
There would have
wasn't
been
ready
probably
yet.
a different story, right?
Captive audience waiting for an oil change. Oh.
Yeah. All right, a little more here. Your thoughts and feelings are a mirror of your soul. You know, I don't ever remember reading that. I've read this several times through the years. Your
But is
thoughts
it
and
true?
feelings are a mirror of your soul.
Is it true? Because if your soul is a piece of the creator in full manifestation, and our thoughts comes to us, but it's filtered through all the filters of beliefs and values and the way we feel and our experiences. So can our thoughts be a mirror of our soul? Like when we're mad or angry? No, our thoughts are not exactly godlike. So is it true if our soul is a piece of the creator? I'm just asking. I really don't have the answer, right? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Maybe if I read these next two sentences, which is the next paragraph, that might shed a little light for us. Then he goes on, your thoughts and feelings are a mirror of your soul. Each living soul experiences life as an individual. This is why all humans live and see a separate reality. Maybe what he's saying, do you think, is that that is our soul? Because thoughts and feelings are invisible. The physical is what's visible. The invisible is our soul. I don't know.
I mean, if the premise is that we're all healthy, I think we all have a good soul, but our experiences have tainted us. And that's why we're in separate realities.
Yeah. I like that.
Not quite sure what happened to Putin, that he's so much a bully, but
Because it goes through filters. No, your level of consciousness affect the quality of your thoughts. I'm pretty sure in his mind,
Ooh, I like
he's
that.
totally fine. No,
Can you
we're the
repeat
one who doesn't see.
what you just said. They go through a filter.
Yeah, every thought goes to the filters of our beliefs, our values, our experiences, whatever is in the data bank, the way we feel at that particular moment, because the same events, you're happy or you're angry, you'll not see. So it goes through all of these filters, and by the time you're aware of it, it's been through all those filters.
Like his background with the KGB. That's his filter. That's how he looks out at the world. Whew.
Sending in Lori. We're gonna fly you in. Consult with him. No, do it on Zoom.
Yeah, right.
Yes, ended up in Siberia. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's freaky. I mean, it's surreal. The whole thing
Well,
is
and I look at the
absolutely
Polish
surreal.
people. The Polish people and what happened with World War II and how there was people weren't there for them. I'm Polish, and so it really touches my heart, and how that they remember that people weren't there for them, and they're reaching out and they've opened their doors to all these refugees, and all the other countries around have done the same thing. It's amazing, the compassion and how they're absorbing all these people in these small countries.
Yeah. Romania, Poland. There was the most beautiful and amazing image somewhere. I don't know if I saw it on Facebook, maybe, of the train station in Poland. Women had brought a line. There must have been 20 baby carriages to leave for the moms. Did you see that?
Yes.
Beautiful image. What hearts, what big hearts.
It tells me we have so much to give.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. In spite of what they've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they can still reach out and help another human being. And then there are these lost, we use the term lost souls. Maybe that's what Sid was referring to. I don't know. Your thoughts and feelings are a mirror of your soul. He's a lost soul, Putin, for sure. No one seems to understand even what is he after.
No.
The glory of the USSR. The good old days.
Is that even what it is? I don't know. I hear different things from different sources. What is he after? Oh, man, oh man. The divine truth that lies within each living soul never changes. It is eternal. So truth is eternal and it's always the same. The divine passes from the formless to form, and as human beings, we are both spectators and participants in this spiritual theater called life. The divine passes from the formless to form. And as human beings, we are both spectators and participants in this spiritual theater called life. I love that.
That's a beautiful, beautiful image.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, like what I see is that we have this amazing capacity to observe creation and also create. Mind-boggling, mind-numbing that we have that capacity. The great mystics of the world who tried to explain such knowledge had no choice but to speak in metaphors, knowing their words were only a representation of the spiritual wisdom that lies within the consciousness of all human beings. All human psyches are rooted in universal truth, and no person's psyche is better than any other's. Only to the degree of the individual's psychological and spiritual understanding does it appear to vary. All human psyches are rooted in universal truth, and no person's psyche is better than any other's. Only to the degree of the individual's psychological and spiritual understanding does it appear to vary. But that's really heavy, isn't it? So it's like we're all tapping into the same well, but what we're making of that well has a lot to do with our understanding of the well.
And where we put our attention to.
And where we put our attention, that's right. What we think is important. Words are merely a form. Listen not to words, but to that which words attempt to convey. Yeah, that is so powerful. When you're listening to people, even in a conversation, You're really listening for what they're trying to convey, not your interpretation of their words. Yeah. And then you'd hear, you know, maybe you might hear the person's feeling insecure rather than hearing that they're out to make you miserable. Something like that. I love this quote. Remember, it's not the clay that represents the sculpture, but the form the artist has molded it into. Just like the clay of the sculpture, thought is not reality. However, our personal realities are molded via our thoughts. Our personal realities are molded via our thoughts.
I see that so clearly with my sister.
How do you mean?
Well, she ruminates 20 hours out of the day. So of course, her reality is extremely shitty. Because she
Wow.
she focus on everything is bad, it is going to be bad, and it's bad now, and it was always bad, and then this happened last year, and this happened 2 years ago, and that happened 10 years ago, and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then in her present, in her now, nothing is working, you know, because of where she put her attention to. And I see, probably it's easy for me to see. If I were in a situation, maybe I could be totally blind too. But and when I try to point that to her, that look where you put your attention to. Look, no, that was 6 months ago. Oh, no, that was 1 year ago. No, how about now? Well, this morning that happened. That's my now. Okay. So if 20 hours a day, all you think about is all the other things that have been going wrong, everything that's been done to you, well, you're going to just to get more of the same. Your vibration is going to attract the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's easy to see from the outside. If I would have been in her shoes, I don't know if I'd be able to see it, right? But so it's easy from the outside to say, oh shit, yeah. No. Where we put our focus on, where we put our energy on, really does have a big impact in the now.
Absolutely. You know what just came to my mind? You know that experiment they show? I think Rudy did this in one of the Three Principles movies that he created a while back, where you take a tuning fork and you hit it, you know, so that it vibrates. And if you put another tuning fork near it without hitting it, it starts to vibrate off of the vibration of this tuning fork. That's pretty wild.
I've seen a very cool image. I think it was on Facebook. There's like these matches lined up in a circle, and then the one's lit, and then the other ones are lit, and then the other one steps up or out of it, and the fire stops.
No kidding.
If I'll look and see if I have that image. It's the coolest image. It's like sometimes if you remove from that, it's just like it says so much. Because I had written down here, like one of you said, the thoughts, they go through a filter. So if all of her thoughts are going through the filter of that's what all you're going to see. And it's like, I was there a year ago. So I get it. So
Yeah. So
I can
you,
see it,
yeah,
and I can
right,
appreciate it far differently now.
right. That's how we all get it when we look at our past and we say, oh my God, this was me before I understood thought. Like night and day.
Mhm.
It's fascinating. And so, of course, we want everybody else to understand so they could experience day and not night. Yeah. Wow. Just a little more for this chapter. One more page. At the moment of birth, the virgin mind discovers creation and the duality of life is born. Henceforth, you live in a world governed by thought. At the moment of birth, the virgin mind discovers creation and the duality of life is born. Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what it's like in the womb.
I do regression to cause, so sometimes the cause is in utero, so that the kids hear what's going on the outside, feels what the mother's feeling, and it gets thoughts. So I think it's way before birth than at birth. I know
Yeah,
somebody who was
even before
born
birth.
with ulcers. The baby was born with stomach ulcers.
Wow.
So imagine. So even before birth.
I saw this image of two twins, like, just a few hours old, and they're hugging each other, just like they were in the womb. And the caption was, they can't stop hugging each other.
Oh.
Isn't that wild? They think they're one, I guess. That's so wild. Nature is unbelievable, unbelievable. When clarity and purity of thought are present, the answer you seek will present itself. For what you seek is with you and has been with you always. When clarity and purity of thought are present, the answer you seek will present itself. For what you seek is with you and has been with you always. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Some of this, I mean, there's just no words other than the words that Sid wrote, right? How do you express? It's so deep. In the silence of our minds lies creative incubation, bringing the wisdom and the joy we all seek. And that was the end of chapter 1, which is called The Missing Link. The missing link is thought. Thought. Yeah.
I've got it on my Kindle. I love it.
You've got it on Kindle. Yeah.
Such
Yeah,
a
it's
good
such a
book.
great book. Well, on that note, I'm going to stop the recording because people don't like listening to things that are too long anyway.